Here we are on the takeoff sites of lowries Pass. Just thought I'd give a site briefing for this place. So basically you have the town of Strand down below you. Wind should definitely be blowing up the front. Now the wind is wrapping up all over the place. As you drive up, you can see this little anemometer, and it's going to tell you how fast it's spinning and which direction it's showing. Will tell you what the wind's doing. So literally as you drive up lowries Pass, have a look. Your very first sign is this anemometer. If you want a true indication of the wind, just go over to the anemometer, have a look at it, and then study it and look and see. Here we're standing on the takeoff site. Simba, Jerome, and of course gorgeous here. Sorry, Jackie. Let's keep it real. And when you launch here, be careful. That wall at the back can cut your glider, but you've also got to drop off here. So ground handling should be good here, good enough space. 2-3 guys can get ready at the same time, and you take off into this gap. Be careful launching here if the wind is too much from this side, and be careful launching if the wind is really gusty and weird from this side. The site doesn't have a lot of room for error. If you are taking off and you go down, you shoot immediately to the right hand side and go over these rocks here and the train line, and you kind of hug the side of the highway, being careful of the highway and its wall, all that kind of thing. Usually by the time you get to the first highway wall, you should already be getting some kind of lift. If you're not, chances are good you're bombing out. Bombing out is easy. On the corner of that road where the trees do a kind of windy, you have a nice landing area on the right hand side. Otherwise, if you're a pro, you can land right where the junction of the road is. There's a sandy patch, but some construction people have come and left their rubbish there. This is the big cliffs that are quite easy to fly to. Hansekop is 12 kilometers away, and that's a nice flight to fly to there and back. Be careful if you leave this first ridge that you are higher than the ridge. If you're not higher than the ridge, don't even consider starting to go towards Hansekop. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. If the wind is coming a little bit more from this direction, you'll go quite quickly that way. Keep checking along the way that you've got enough height, and you turn and look into the wind. Because that whole area down there is actually really difficult to walk out of, and you'll walk a long way. Halfway along are a few estates, and you could probably land there if there's some cars there and get a lift out. But most of the time, just after you leave this, make sure you've got enough height and stay high enough. At least at cliff height, not lower than any of the bottom of the cliffs along there. But it's really quite easy to fly here at lowries Pass. It's really nice. You can, if the wind is a little bit more this way, you can go all the way along these rocks and beyond. Be careful, the power lines cross the mountain here. Do never ever forget it. We call them widow makers, and they will kill you. And they drop down there. So in general, when we take off here, we veer to the right hand side to check it out. If you take off and you get some good lift just on the left hand side, that's fine, but in a short while are the power lines, and respect them the whole time. There's plenty of landing all the way in that area, and down on the beach in Gordon's Bay is a nice place to land. And here, as I said, that's a nice place to land there. Otherwise, if you fly across country, it's generally there and back, and it's quite easy. You can park your car at the landing, take an Uber up here, or you can band with some other guys, come up here together. Otherwise, come up here, ask somebody to drive your car down, which I often do, and that works well. If you want to fly further, there's the Shell petrol station before the highway turns there, and just after it on the left hand side are lots of fields to land in, and it's a short walk back to the Shell petrol station. That's if you really got some success. Flying over the back here, I never have, but it should be done. You could fly down the N2 and keep going. And from these mountains in the distance over to Franschhoek is possible and beyond. So this is quite a nice site, and it's a really easy accessible site. And yeah, I recommend it. lowries Pass. What do you think, guys? Questions? Perfect. Yeah.